for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I counting days until the second call. If you're gonna make those shades, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start to top the yells. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I counting days until the second call. If you're gonna make those shades, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start to top the yells. It's all you need to do. start. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna break those shades, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around, just start to top the lungs. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna break those shades, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around, just start to top the lungs. It's all you need to do.
Good morning and welcome back everyone to We Are Tottenham TV for the first Good Morning Tottenham in a while. Games have been called off. I mean, the last time we played, when was the last time we played? Was it Brentford?
Norwich
on
10
the Sunday,
days ago.
10 days ago. So it feels like much longer than that. It really does. But finally, we've got Tottenham back. Tottenham play tomorrow away at Leicester, which I'm very looking forward to, going up there tomorrow. So looking forward to being back at stadiums, back at away games. And it's a big game tomorrow night. Let's make no mistake about it. It's a big game tomorrow night. We need to get back on track in terms of just getting on the football pitch, to be honest. But it's going to be...
2 games in hand at the moment.
Yeah, I know. 2 games in hand against Burnley and against, who's the other one against? Brighton, both away games. But in this game, we still don't know kind of what players are going to be on the pitch tomorrow. Antonio's due to do his press conference at 1:30 today, so hopefully we'll get some more information then. But the way we're going to structure today, we're going to go through a match preview and then we're going to get you guys on to have your say. It's open to everyone, not just members. So come on and have your say on the game tomorrow night. But without further ado, let's get into a match preview for tomorrow. When you're looking at Spurs against Leicester, or you're looking at Leicester, I mean, they haven't really impressed a lot of people this season. They've been suffering a lot of injuries, especially in defence. But how are you kind of assessing them this season?
Yeah, very inconsistent. They haven't really been able to get a consistent run of results together. I think that I would say... when they have turned on, they've had some good performances. For example, beating Man United 4-2, that was a good performance. That was a while ago now. But obviously they beat Newcastle 4-0 last week. That was a pretty impressive performance. But by and large, whenever they've come up against anyone half decent, they've kind of got turned over. Their defence has been lacking massively this season.
Yeah.
Set pieces, they're conceding goals galore. They don't seem stable, like which used to be one of their biggest assets, was being solid at the back. Maybe it's because of injuries or whatever it is, but losing Johnny Evans as well on the weekend will definitely not help that. So that's going to hurt them. But going forward, Barnes is still scoring, Vardy's still scoring, Maddison of late has been coming to the fore, hasn't he? Obviously, Jory Tielemans got a double last week. Patson Daka in Europa League has been firing. So despite injuries, they're definitely going to be a threat going forward, and it's going to be hard to stop them. But if we have control of the game, for sure there's going to be chances there for us, 100%. It's all about making sure we contain Leicester, and then when we do pick our chances to go forward, 100% there are going to be chances to create openings. And I wonder how it's going to affect us having not played for 10 days. Whether because obviously the training has been a bit mixed up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But there have been,
say the least.
But since Sunday they've been back on the pitch. So.
Not all of them, though.
Whoever's there has been back on the pitch, so I guess that's a positive. And I think Leicester could be a fairly decent team to play right now, although they might have something to prove. I think with a lot of injuries, especially in defensive positions, definitely could be a team where we feel like we can get at them, especially with what apparently Son and Lucas, they're saying, are back now. Definitely 2 important players for us. But it's still going to be a very tough game. They're not going to make it easy for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, when you're looking at the form between us and Leicester, I mean, we've got fairly good form. We got fairly good form against Leicester, don't we? We played them last time we went to the King Power at the back end of last season. Gareth Bell providing a stunning performance for us. But if you look at the form there, that's it. Win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So we're actually due a loss this one.
Yeah, that's what
the form books tell you.
Exactly.
But when you're looking at how we're going to set up in this game, Leicester are very frail from set pieces, right? Do you expect us to just try and keep it tight and hit them on the set pieces in the transition tomorrow?
Yes.
Just because of the way we're going into this game is what I'm saying.
Potentially. I mean, we're obviously been a much bigger threat from set pieces ever since Conte's come in. We've known that. And he'll definitely see the set pieces that Leicester are conceding right now, and definitely see that as an avenue of weakness that we can exploit, especially given that we're going to have 3 centre-backs most probably on the pitch tomorrow. So, for sure, Conte will look at that. I think with, depends who's playing, but hearing that Skip and Højbjerg might still be missing tomorrow, and if that's the case, he might be forced into putting out a team that's going to be having more possession in a way.
And Ndombele or someone like that. Like,
or who else is there?
In the middle?
Lo Celso. I'm guessing he's back. He must be back now. Lo Celso, surely.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't
surely.
you?
Yeah, you would think maybe he could play in the centre. Don't really have many other options, do we? So. He could kind of be forced into a team that's more comfortable playing with possession, which could maybe help us, because Leicester at the moment, last season they were very much a counter-attacking team, Leicester, I felt. That's where they were at their best. This season, their defence isn't solid enough to be playing that approach. And they're playing their best football when they're on the front foot at the moment against lesser teams. That's when they're at their best this season.
Will that play in our hands? Will that work against us tomorrow night?
Should play in our hands, I would say. I would say it should play in our hands.
So they can come onto us and we can spring on them and win the ball in good areas of the pitch. But can we win the ball in good areas of the pitch with Ndombele and Winks in the middle of the park?
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question. I would say they're two in the middle. Obviously, Indeed and Tielemans, very good players. So it's going to be tough in there, especially if we're playing Winks and Ndombele. It's going to be tough not to get dominated. But if we do on a few occasions, even if it be 3 or 4, get the turnover in and around the midfield area, for sure there's going to be opportunities to open them up. And we've got to remember as well, today West Ham play Arsenal, so 2 teams in and around where we're playing who are going to be taking points off each other.
Yeah, no matter what the score is in that game, it's imperative we get the 3 points tomorrow. It really is.
If we can win tomorrow, that puts us in a great position with 2 games in hand. Really great position. But even if it's a draw, it's still fairly... I mean, a draw is not a horrendous result. We haven't won an away game.
A draw's probably a good result.
We haven't won an away game, have we? Under
this
Conte.
whole season?
Under Conte.
Under Conte, no. We've only played 1 Premier League away game. What was it? Everton?
1 away and 2, and 1 in the Europa Conference. We lost that one as well.
Yeah.
So we have... So Conte is still yet to win an away game. So... he's got that monkey to get off his back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't read too much into that. The Mura game was a completely changed side, and Everton was his first game. So
yeah, but we've had a problem away from home all season, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just under Conte. I think we seem to buckle a bit when we play away from... Actually, at home, our form's pretty good.
Yeah, we're near the top of the form table for our home form.
Despite a couple of heavy defeats to
Arsenal,
United. Is that only 2 losses?
Huh?
Is that only 2 losses?
At home, we've lost to Chelsea and Man United. Yeah,
that's
the only 2. We've won the rest. We haven't even drawn at home this season. Yeah. So, yeah, look, our home form is good. We're dispatching of the kind of teams that we should be dispatching at home. Now we need to bring that form into our away form and kind of dispatch of the teams that we should be dispatching away from home as well.
I think we're mid-table for our away form, like 10th or something.
So, yeah, we definitely need to improve away from home, that's for sure. But I have no doubt in my mind Conte will sort that out, and hopefully it will start this weekend. When you're looking at their danger... Yeah, midweek. When you're looking at their... danger men. Jory Tielemans is really pulling through for them this season. I mean, he's been one of their shining lights this season, hasn't he?
Quality player. He's really he's developing into what everyone thought he would be, into that box to box kind of midfielder who's able to really contribute in the final third. His shooting, we all know he's got an unbelievable shot on him. We've shown that time and time again. No less in the FA Cup final when he scored that wonder goal. He's taken that into this season, hasn't he? Yeah. He got a double on Sunday against Newcastle with some great finishes. And he's just got a great finish on him. He's got a great strike. It was really, really impressive. And he's not the ultimate destroyer, but he definitely puts a shift in as well. 100%. He's a hard worker. So definitely he is one. He's got a really good eye for a pass as well, doesn't he?
Rumours that he's going to be leaving Leicester at the end of the season. I mean, he's one, I think, if that's the case, I mean, I would love to absolutely snap him up. I think he would suit right in the Spurs team.
I believe his contract runs out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So he still hasn't signed one, and the rumours that he's not going to. So whether he's waiting for a bigger club, maybe he think he's got to step up. Like he hasn't played Champions League yet at Leicester, and obviously he just got knocked out Europa League, didn't they? So he'll be very, very disappointed with that. I think Europa League was a big tournament for Leicester, actually. And I think that's a big blow. Maybe they're
in the Conference League now.
I know, but I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to get top 4 this season. and I think especially the form they're on, and I think actually it's a massive blow. I think he should have been playing a full team in that tournament. I don't know what kind of teams they were putting out, but I don't think it was all like completely full strength all the time.
Not all the time, but they did.
And that's
play
what
in some
cost
of the
them.
games.
Yeah, that's what cost them. I think at the end of the day, because early in the, I know they lost to Napoli on the last day, but in the early rounds they were getting. I think they started with 2 defeats. I think in the group.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that's what cost them at the end of the day, and I think Rodgers should be very disappointed with that.
Well, the problem is with Leicester, they were getting so many injuries, so they didn't want it to affect their league form. You know, playing with a depleted squad in both tournaments, they'd have to play the same pretty much 11.
Yeah, but I think for Leicester, I think the Europa League is almost more important than the league.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
Why is that?
Because I think that's their best avenue to Champions League if they want to get there, and I think they actually got a good enough squad where they can really go far in that tournament if they.
You know, the way they were looking at probably is that we came so close to the top 4 in the last 2 seasons in the league, literally in touching distance or in like spitting distance of the Champions League, and they thought if they can kind of keep up that form in the league, then maybe top 4 could be an avenue for them.
Yeah, but maybe they were thinking that, but I think they're wrong to think that. I think that they Leicester should have been taking that tournament as seriously as possible. That's what I think, and I really believe that, especially they never won a European trophy in their history. I don't think. I think it would have been a very good trophy for them to win, and it gets them into Champions League. So, if I was Rodgers, I'll be very angry about going out in the group stages.
Took that group a bit for granted, because who did they have in their group?
Napoli,
very hard.
Moscow and Warsaw.
So they probably thought Warsaw and Moscow were going to be pretty much walkovers, especially at home, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's always going to be hard going away to Moscow and away to Warsaw. No matter what kind of quality of team you have, it's always going to be a difficult game in those sort of circumstances. So, yeah, look, they probably thought they would breeze that group, definitely finish second.
And they're currently 8th at the moment.
Yeah.
Where we'll have to wait and see how the Conference League affects their league form in the second half of the season. But if they don't win the Conference League and they finish in the bottom half, what does that mean for Rodgers, do you think?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I would like to see.
I think they'll probably give him another chance.
I think,
but if he has a bad start into next season, then
then he could be go. But I think that he's done a lot at Leicester, and I think that for what he's done at Leicester, it deserves more of a chance than him going this season. Even if they have a bad season, I think that he's deserved to stay there a bit longer.
Well, it's at Ranieri 6 months after winning the league.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's a bit of a different case. I think Ranieri was always
a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers is a better manager than Ranieri, and I think he's proved that throughout his career. And I think, you know, he came very close with Liverpool. He'd done wonders in Celtic, but, you know, that's really not saying too much, doing that at Celtic, especially with Rangers in the second division. And I think he's done a really good job at Leicester. He does. Like, when you look at his job since he's come into now, he's done a very, very good job. Two seasons where they've been in literally spitting distance of the Champions League, won the FA Cup last season. So I think he deserves more of a chance.
I feel like he might. I get the feeling with Rodgers, he's finding it a bit. I know, look, it's still not even halfway through the season yet, and they're still in the hunt for for top 6 or whatever. But I get the impression for when I watch Leicester, he might be. I think he's been overachieving for a couple of years since he got there, doing really well but overachieving, and he might be finding it difficult to continue to overachieve again for a third year in a row. A bit like Pochettino in a way, like continuing to overachieve all the time, and it might be coming to the end of the cycle. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and obviously you've got teams around them fighting for the Champions League who've all got better this year. Liverpool, Man City.
Well, everyone said Leicester had a good summer, to be fair. Daka.
Yeah, they did have a good summer, but it's always going to take time for these players to bed in. Like Daka's only starting to perform now properly. Jamie Vardy, you know, he's had a stunning start to the season. He hasn't been out of the team for the last couple of games, but Daka's stepped up, to be fair. And other players as well, they've come in, but you need to give them time. Like Samare as well, he's been playing quite a bit of football, but hasn't really knuckled down that spot properly. He hasn't really, you know, shown the Premier League what he's all about 100% just yet. And a lot of these players that they've brought in are pretty much of the same ilk.
Vardy, 34, second top goal scorer in the Premier League. When is he ever going to stop scoring? It's unbelievable for a player who relies on pace, like as much as Vardy does, which he does. He's just always scoring, like every single season. He never stops.
It's the perfect example of someone that looks after themselves.
Vardy looking after himself.
Well, it seems as though
he must be,
if
but
he's 34 and still as speedy.
Skittles vodka every weekend.
No, but look, you can't.
That's why I'm so astonished. I don't think he's a player. Like, I'm not saying obviously he's a professional footballer in the Premier League. I'm sure he looks after himself, but I don't think he does it like I'm saying to level maybe other players do it. So that's why I'm astonished.
I don't think he can't not be looking after himself if he's that age and doing what he's doing. He still looks as fit as a fiddle.
So yeah,
he really does. And like you can't not be looking after yourself. I'm not
saying he is. I'm not saying he's just completely letting himself go and partying every night. Oh, he's a Premier League footballer. But I think all Premier League footballers look after themselves. But there's that level, and then there's a level even above that where, for example, like there's like a Ronaldo level where like every single decision he makes in his life is geared towards being better. Like I don't think he's that level or anything. Yeah. I think like he seems like I don't know him personally or whatever, but he seems to be like a player who just kind of. I don't know. He doesn't seem to me like that player who takes those extra steps. Like every decision he makes is like geared towards prolonging his career.
But you're never going to know what he does behind closed doors. Let's be honest. But look, he doesn't feel like that player when you just look at him. He doesn't look like a role model professional and all that kind of stuff. But he's got to be. I mean, you don't get to this stage of your career, 34, 35, in the last stage of your career. Being at the top end of the Premier League scoring charts at that age and not look proper look after yourself. Maybe he's had a change of heart the last couple of years, and the sports scientist told him what he needs to do to prolong his career.
Yeah, probably. I think it's astonishing for a player like him to be going still scoring. Why has he been out of the
team the last couple of games?
Well, he's 34, so can he play every game? You know what I mean? I think even now, Vardy, I mean, I know he's scored 9 goals. How many of them have been penalties?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have a few. I feel like a few of them being penalties. Don't have the stats in front of me. But like the thing is with Vardy is he's a very good striker. He's clearly still scoring the goals, but a bit like Aubameyang, when he's not scoring, he's not providing much. If he's not running in, like he has one trick pretty much. He runs in behind, he gets to the wrong side of the defender, and he slots it home.
Yeah.
If he's not doing that, he's not very good at holding the play up. That's never been his forte. When the play's very congested, he's not very nimble where he can weave in between players and stuff. He's not very good at shooting outside the box either. So
that's why he's suited Leicester down to a T, because he's perfect for a counter-attacking style of play.
100%.
And that's where he's earned his money over the last couple of years. Leicester, like you say, have been predominantly, apart from this season, have been predominantly in a counter-attacking style of team, and that's why he's got so many goals, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying maybe in recent weeks when maybe teams are being a bit more defensive or whatnot against them or whatever it is, Rodgers decided that he can't play every game. And I don't know, maybe he played in midweek against Napoli and then and then he decided to go with Daka. I don't know what the situation is, but look, he is 34, so you have to. I think he's done. The right thing is that a player at that age, you have to manage them. You can't expect them, except if you're Lewandowski.
He was on the bench for the Legia game, and then he played 90 minutes against Watford, against Southampton, came on for the last half an hour against Villa, then played 90 against Napoli, and then didn't feature against Newcastle.
Yeah, so makes sense. You have to manage
against
him.
Us. I'm pretty sure he'll play against us.
And he has a great record against us.
Yeah.
That's the worrying thing.
But on the flip side, Harry Kane has a great record against Leicester. Are we going to see some Harry Kane goals this
Lord only knows. I mean, look, I'm hoping and praying he gets back on the score sheet. Look, to be honest, I've got to the stage now where as long as Tottenham are winning and playing well, I think it's non-issue. It's like I'm not bothered. Obviously, when the goals are drying up and all of a sudden and the performances are drying up and he's still going on a barren run, then it becomes more of an issue. But right now, as long as we're playing well, I'm not bothered if Kane is the one scoring or not. That's how I'm seeing it at the moment.
Yeah,
that's how I got to look at it, because I think at the moment there's no way of dropping him. He has to be in the team. I still think he provides, unlike Vardy, is my point. Like when he's not scoring, he's still providing a lot of the stuff for the team, which is helping us Either hold the ball up, win headers, through balls, all this kind of stuff. So he's still providing a very crucial part of the team, even when he's not scoring. So he's still worth having on the pitch. When Vardy's not scoring, it's a bit different. So I want him to score. I'm desperate for him to score and break his duck. But if he doesn't, as long as we win, that's the most important thing.
With a depleted Tottenham squad going up against a depleted Leicester squad tomorrow, let's be honest, both sides are going to have key players missing. Leicester, especially in defence. Spurs could be in midfield if the rumours are right without Skip and Højbjerg. Are you worried about that midfield battle tomorrow? Let's say if it is, for argument's sake, Ndombele and Winks up against Indeed and Tielemans.
I'm worried about the midfield battle, yeah, for sure. If there's going to be a severe lack of bite, that is what I'm worried about. And it's not even so much when we're on the ball, or it's going to be when Leicester are coming at us, and whether they have it's not even the ability to get in the tackle, it's tracking runners, you know what I mean? It's being able to be positionally aware of yourself, not being caught out of position, being disciplined. Whether Ndombele and Winks, I think Winks is definitely a bit more suited to it, but Ndombele, I'm worried about him, whether Indeed is going to bully him, whether he's going to be able to wriggle away from him and get the wrong side of Tielemans and get us on the front foot.
Have we even won a game in the Premier League without Skip this season?
Have we won a game without Skip? I don't think so, because the two times he was dropped, we lost.
Arsenal-Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, so...
He's played every other game since, apart from that, hasn't he?
Oh, no, we did. He was suspended. I think it was Brentford.
Oh, that was right. Yeah, he was suspended for the Brentford game.
Oh, no, Leeds.
Leeds. Sorry, yeah, Leeds. He was suspended for that game. Yeah, you're right.
Leeds, he was suspended, so we won 2-1. So, well, it wasn't the best performance in the world, but we got there in the end. And this is going to be a very, very difficult game. Even with their injuries, Leicester, at the back, they're definitely depleted. But going forward, they've got all their players there. Vardy, Daka, Barnes, Maddison, they're all there, Tielemans. Yeah. So they've
on form as well. Vardy's on form, Maddison's on form.
Yeah.
Daka's on form.
There's not much of an excuse from that point of view to not be able to hurt us. So if we can keep a clean sheet, it's still impressive, even though they're a depleted team. And I think that's what Conte will focus on. Making sure that we're as solid as possible at the back, making sure that we plug every gap that Leicester are looking to fill. And I think he would probably have the full belief that when we do have opportunities to play some combinations and stuff and quick football on the counter or transition, we can come up with a couple of moments. I don't think it's going to be. I don't envisage it being a game where we're playing wonderful football and we're dominating and creating loads of chances. I fully expect it to be a hard fought. We're going to get maybe 2 or 3 clear-cut chances, maybe some half chances like shots outside the box and stuff like that. We'll get 2 or 3 clear-cut chances, and if we can take them, we'll win. And if not, it'll be very tough to win that game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the game plan tomorrow will be to try and keep it very solid at the back to counter their attacking presence and to hit them on the break and really make use out of their faltering defence at the moment.
Yeah,
hit them in the set pieces as well. I reckon Conte would be working very hard on set pieces this week in training coming into this game. But what is your score prediction going into the game tomorrow?
In my prediction, I said 1-1. I said I think. Look, obviously, it could all change depending on if we know more information about who's available and who's not. But I just feel like it's going to be a very close game. I feel like Leicester might come up with a moment because they've got players on form at the moment, maybe in a penalty or something. They might come up with something to get a goal. But I also feel like with our quality, we should have a moment where we get something. And I just see it being a draw, which both teams won't be too disappointed with.
I'm going to go for... I predicted a 2-0 win. I was undecided. I was going between 1-0 and 2-0. I wasn't sure which one to take. But like I said before, I think we're going to try and keep it really tight at the back. I think the midfield does worry me a bit because if we've got Winks and Ndombele there, or even Lo Celso there, we can easily get open up, with Tielemans and Indeed there, I think the midfield battle will be very hard to win with those players in there. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think if we can keep it tight at the back with either three at the back and hit them on the break and hit them with a few set pieces, I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. But I think we can win. I really believe we can win, and I think we can hit them on the transition. We can hit them with a few set pieces as well. So I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. And I'm just excited to have Spurs back, to be honest.
Definitely. I think I would agree with you. If we had Skip and Højbjerg, I think a 2-0 win is for sure. Well, not for sure, but more likely. But with Ndombele and the Winks, do I see us shutting them out? I think they're going to score if we have that midfield too. That's how I see it.
All right. Well, that is our match preview. Sim is going 1-1. I'm going 2-0 to Spurs. I want to know your score predictions in the comment section below. That is our match preview. Now it is time to bring on some guests. But just before we bring on some guests, we've got some lovely T-shirts for sale. If you're looking to give a Christmas gift or just buy yourself a new T-shirt, we've got Italian Job T-shirts. We've got Heung-min Son T-shirts. And we've also got the standard We Are Tottenham designs as well. So I'm going to put the link in the chat now if you want to come on and have a look at them. Just bear with me.
The Son shirts are selling very, very quickly, so get them while you can. And they're really nice shirts. Perfect Christmas gift. So go check them out.
So I've pinned it to the top of the chat. But let's start bringing on some guests. This is open to everyone, not just members. And let's start off with the man, the myth, the legend. That is Carl Patrick Vignon.
Yo.
Yes,
Yo,
Carl.
Kyle.
How are you, my friend?
Good, man. Good.
You looking forward to having Tottenham back tomorrow?
Yeah. Finally.
The Rock has come back.
Yeah. That's what expressions would say. Finally. The Rock has come back to Tottenham.
Are we going to win tomorrow, Carl?
I hope so, because you know Kane loves a goal against Leicester, because he did play when he was on loan there, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think,
He did.
Yeah. He was with Vardy on loan there, so obviously, how many goals has he got? 16 or 17 now? 18?
Mm-hmm.
18.
Who, Kane?
Yeah, Kane.
Against
18.
Leicester? It can't be that. Is it that many? 18?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
scored, he scored in a 4-2 win, remember?
Yeah,
So
he
there
did. Must be a lot. Definitely a lot of goals. I know he scored a hat-trick in his
Kane has
first season.
scored 15 Premier League goals against
Wow, that's a
Leicester
lot.
in 12 games.
15? The
Yeah.
last time I checked, he got about 16 or 17.
I
But-
just checked it now, and this was reported at the end of the Leicester game against that we played 4-2, and Harry Kane has scored 15 goals. It says
In the Premier League.
in the Premier League.
I think he got a cup, maybe one in the cup as well.
Oh right, so yeah, you're probably right then, Carl.
16, yeah. So, but, yeah, like, I wanted to score 4. Like, when
But Carl,
we-
just before you carry on what you're saying, Harry Kane has scored 15 goals against Leicester in the Premier League. Only 2 players have scored more against an opponent in Premier League history. Do you know who those players are? And who the opponents are?
Give me at least a clue and the letter.
The top one, I'll tell you who it's against. It's against Leeds United.
Thierry Henry?
No, Alan Shearer.
Shearer.
And the second one is a player that did play for Tottenham. And the team it's against is Everton.
David Ginola.
No.
No.
along the right lines, though. Played for the same clubs as Ginola, Tottenham and Newcastle.
Les Ferdinand.
That's
Yeah,
right.
very good,
That's
very
right.
good,
We could do with you, Les Ferdinand. I know you're watching.
Get his
Go on,
boots
carry
back
on what
on.
you were about to say, Carl.
Yeah, so hopefully we can win tomorrow, because we absolutely battered them 4-2 earlier this year. So I want more than that. I want another 6-1 actually, because
6-1.
yeah, didn't we beat them 6-1 what 4 years ago before the end?
Yeah,
of the
Kane
season?
scored 4.
And didn't Son and Ali score as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I know Ali's probably going to leave, so he's not in Conte's plans. But as you mentioned, Conte's never lost to Leicester.
Has he not?
No,
Really?
when he was Chelsea boss, yeah, Conte's never lost to Leicester.
Well,
Conte's
Dr. Tottenham's
beaten them,
coming then, eh, Carl? You shouldn't have said that.
like, I'm just saying, like, Conte's never lost to Leicester City when he was at Chelsea for 2 seasons. He's done them 4 times. So can he win for a 5th time? But as Tottenham boss, first match against Leicester, so this, I'm going. I know we probably won't score 6 because Man City got 7 yesterday. So, but I'm gonna keep it down and go for a 3-1.
3-1 Spurs. Who's going to score? Harry Kane back on the score sheet tomorrow, Carl?
Yeah, Kane obviously, but got to go for Sonny and like I know Højbjerg probably won't, but got to go for Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dyer.
All right, so we're
Dyer.
going to win. You heard it here first. We're going to win 3-1. Kane, Sonny, and Eric Dyer to get the goals tomorrow night.
Yeah, and hopefully, and then we got Liverpool on Sunday. Like like I said before, I'll say it again. Like, we need to stop losing at home to Liverpool because they've won their 2 times at our new ground. So it's time for revenge because, like, apparently there's people in talks to cancel the African Cup of Nations for next year.
Yeah, I'm hearing that as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be.
so-
They're going to be cancelled in
Maybe.
January.
So it looks like Liverpool will have Mane and Salah then. For the title race could go down to goal difference. I heard Tim Sherwood say. So, but who's going to win the league then?
Oof, what a question.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. But at the moment, you got to say that Liverpool and Man City are the 2 front runners, aren't they?
Yeah, City, but obviously there's no way Chelsea are winning that title because they've won it before. But I'm sorry.
I personally think
Chelsea-
City are going to win it this year.
City, you think they're going to do back to back like they've done it before? 2018, 2019, you think they're going to do it again?
I think so.
Back
I
to
think
back.
that if Liverpool get a few injuries, they could be really struggling. I think Man City, their squad is just way too strong.
Yeah, I'll probably say, but like they've got Grealish finally started scoring yesterday. But yeah, Grealish. Like we were after him a couple of summers ago. We didn't end up buying him, but
Thank you, Mr. Levy.
yeah, because Mr. Levy wasn't going to pay. How much did Villa want? 80 or something.
No, they wanted a lot less than we wanted when we wanted him.
They wanted like 40 million or something, 20, 30 million, something like that.
It's dropping
Oh.
5-10 million each time you say. Pretty sure it was like 25 million or something, yeah.
We put in a 5 million bid or something,
Plus Onoma.
or plus Onoma.
Josh Onoma, who's was at Fulham last season.
Yeah, is he still at Fulham this year? Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
I
But
haven't seen this.
Carl, we've got some more guests we have to get through. I wish you could stay on for the rest of the stream, but thank you very much for coming on, and we shall see you very soon.
I'll see you Sunday I'll see you tomorrow after the Leicester game.
Most
All
definitely,
right,
my
looking
friend.
forward to it,
Most definitely,
Carl.
looking forward.
Yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Nice one, Carl.
All right, that was the man, the myth. That is Carl Patrick Vineyard. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Who have we got? We've got Mikey.
Big up, Mikey.
Hey
Yes,
guys.
Mikey. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I had a bit of trouble getting in, but I'm here.
You're in now. You're in now. This is the most
Exactly.
exclusive club in London.
Yes. So,
Tomorrow.
it's tomorrow. Yeah, finally back. I mean, I hope that the Premier League don't come out and say, 3 new cases. You guys have to stop the match again. I really hope that the match actually goes ahead because
Yeah, they're saying Tottenham have said to be desperate to play tomorrow to avoid a New Year fixture pile-up. So they're doing everything they can to get the match going ahead. Look, this 10-day break, we've been back on the pitch, or most of the players in the squad have been back on the pitch since Sunday. Obviously, there's been that break since the Norwich game, which was last Sunday. So we pretty much... for most of last week, we weren't training. But on the flip side, we haven't played, so there's been a lot of rest and whatnot for a lot of these players who maybe were straining themselves. Leicester obviously played on Sunday as well against Newcastle. How do you think that will affect the squad going into this game?
You can look at it and say we've had more rest, and that gives us an advantage. But on the flip side, Leicester have a squad that's match fit. They've played 2 games in a week. I mean, I know that you could say they'll be a bit depleted, but at least they've been playing. You can talk about rest all you want, but the energy levels in a 90-minute football match, regardless of the intensity, it's completely different to training. Training, you can afford to be a little bit sloppy, and Leicester have played 2 90-minute games with basically an unchanged 11 for both games. So they might be tired, but at the same time, at least they're conditioned to, even coming out for one game, if you miss one game, you lose that 90-minute match fitness. So I think on the flip side, there is that we've had more rest and we should be technically fresher, but at the same time, Leicester have had more matches to play, and their players will be much more fitter, if you like, because no matter, even if you're training, you couldn't, without training in a group, if you're training on your own, you're not going to be as match fit as you would have been if you've been taking proper training regime without COVID. So if these players have been training at home, we hope that they've been doing the maximum possible, doing gym work, doing cardio and stuff, keeping themselves fit. But all preparation goes out of a window. A, when you're playing a Premier League game, and B, when it's Tottenham playing a Premier League game. So there's that factor to consider as well. I think we will, because we don't know who's in and who's out. We don't know the personnel that are going to be available because they never released a list of who tested positive. So,
well, the rumours at the moment that is most of our players are back, but Skip and Højbjerg might still be missing for tomorrow. That's the rumours, not confirmed. But if it is the case, how would you say that affects us tomorrow?
Okay, so our midfield is gone.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, if you were looking for someone to contain the creativity of James Maddison and the brilliance of Jory Tielemans, you probably want 2 defensive midfield pairing. And Gio won't start because even before the COVID, he was injured. Before COVID, he was injured. He hasn't played a game in so long. I don't think Gio will start, which means it'll probably end up being Winks and Ndombele.
And how will that fare against Indeed and Tielemans?
And Ndombele can't defend, and Winks can't do anything. So we're not well stacked there. That, in all honesty, right? I know this is going to sound very unpopular, but I know he won't do this. But honestly, if I was Conte, I'd push Eric Dyer into that defensive midfield slot just for this game, and play Tanganga, Sanchez, and Davis, because we need a competent destroyer, and Højbjerg and Skipper are the 2 players that we turn to for that. And while Eric Dyer is naturally a centre-back now, he's still played in defensive midfield before, and he'll do a better job of destroying the rhythm of Maddison and Tielemans than Winks would. But I know his importance to us is more. He's more important to play at centre-back. So I know, obviously, if we had an option to play him at CDM, I would. But obviously, Eric Dyer will play at centre-back. But I feel like Victor Wanyama or Moussa Sissoko would have been a nice rotation option to include here, but obviously with our depleted midfield, it looks like Winks and Ndombele will start. I know Gio's not match fit.
And when you look at Leicester, been very patchy this season in terms of form. Like, I can't really find a consistent run of results. But even though we have a depleted squad, do you still see a team there who's there for the taking, or do you see a very hard task in front of us tomorrow?
I see a hard task because Leicester have been patchy at best, but they've just come off a 4-0 win in which their star performers really performed. Like, you're looking at Maddison, who had an exceptional game against, I can't remember who they played. I can't remember Newcastle. So you look at, it's Newcastle, but I know you look at Maddison, who had an exceptional game. You look at Tielemans, who's starting to find his rhythm, and I think regardless of whether, Tottenham's rhythm is always disrupted. Even when we've come off the 3 Premier League wins, we've now got are we at home or are we away?
No, we're away.
Our results at the King Power haven't been the best in recent years. I know we won there with on the final game of the season to secure Europe last season, but I think our results at the King Power have always been patchy. So I hope that we can. I hope that we can win. I don't see a team for the taking, but I don't see the Leicester of last season either.
Well, they have, Evans got a bad injury on Sunday, so that's him out. Fofana's out. They're very likely to play a midfielder in defence because they're just lacking centre backs. So
who else have they got?
Sionchu's on massively out of form though. They got Vestergaard out, Perez out, Lookman out, Justin out, Fofana, Evans. A lot of players. Amarty's a doubt. So look, they got a lot of players in defence out tomorrow. I mean, they're only recognised of their back line as probably going to be Castagna and Sionchu.
Do you see a defence there that can be got at for you?
I do, but I'm looking at Vardy's record against Tottenham: 15 goals, 15 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. So that's.
Yeah, but look at Kane's record against Leicester.
I know, but look at Kane's record in the Premier League this season. You can talk about So obviously, I think our defence is there to be got at because it's our defence, but so is theirs. I don't see a particularly defensively. I don't see a cagey 1-0 win. I see the 4-3 that we had a couple of seasons ago when Kane scored 4 goals to secure his golden boot. I think it might have been the 16-17 season, which coincidentally I've actually got the scarf of.
Come on.
But, I see like I don't see a crazy. I see like a 3-2 maybe, like the game we had against Vitesse. That's what I see happening. I don't.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah, I see like I don't see one side with an expertly marshaled defense. Leicester's injury list is growing game by game, and our defense is not renowned for being rock solid. Yeah, we defended well against Brentford and Norwich, but at the same time they're 2 promoted teams. Regardless of how well they're playing, they're not the quality of Patson Daka, James Maddison, and Jamie Vardy. Yeah. So I think our real test is going to be trying to find. I think he'll have to play Sanchez to combat the pace of Daka and Vardy. Do you think this is the kind of Conte's real test of the back line since he's come in yet? I think it's a perfect audition for the Liverpool game. It's not someone who's low on quality, that's not disrespect to Norwich, of course, but not someone who's out of form so much that we can brush them aside 3-0. Leicester, they're not a City, Liverpool, or Chelsea, but at the same time, they're not a Newcastle or Norwich. It's like a perfect top 10 clash to see how well we perform before we really have a test against Liverpool, which the Liverpool game is. No one beats Liverpool at the moment. I see a draw at best, but that's for the next preview on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
So, in terms of this Norwich game, I predict a 3-2 win. I don't see defenses coming out on top. I see whoever takes their chances will. I don't see massive amounts of chances. I see probably most of it being passed around the midfield because when we get the ball, our midfield is going to be kind of exposed, so we'll want to keep the ball as far away from our midfield as possible. So probably either passing it around the defense or keeping an attack because we don't have that solid base of a midfield like we usually do.
All right, Mikey.
Nice one, Mikey.
Great to have you on as always, my friend, and we'll see you soon. Let's hope for the 3 points tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs.
Bye.
All right. Anyone else? No one else.
It's a Factor Scott member for 2 months. So he just became a member, or he's I don't know.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, just letting us know he's been a member for 2 months. Did he send a message? Does anyone else want to call in? The lines are open. It's in the community section. If you want to click the link and get involved, give your opinion on the Leicester game tomorrow. Also, just want to say. Sergio Aguero has just announced his retirement from football in it's a very sad circumstance for him. So I want to wish him well in his retirement, and it's very sad that he's been forced to retire. That he's 33, so he's not young in footballing terms, but to retire in those circumstances with a heart condition, with the quality of player he is, it's tragic. It's very, very sad, and one of the best strikers probably to ever play in the Premier League, you have to say. Definitely one of the best foreign ones, that's for sure. So wish him well, Sergio.
Yeah, I think foreign, not foreign. Definitely, he's in the top 5 for sure of Premier League strikers of all time, in my opinion. Obviously, that moment when he won the league and last kick of the game that took it off Manchester United. So look, he's an absolute legend of the Premier League. We wish him all the best. It's very sad to see when these kind of things happen. So yeah. Anyone else coming on? Because if not, that is going to be a conclusion of the stream.
Anyone else want to call in? Give your opinion?
There's one more. Come on, at the death. Love it. Who is it?
Who's calling in? Hey!
The Jory call. Come on. I just need to go to the toilet. I can't. You're on mute. You're on mute, Jory.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're back. You're back. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good. How you doing, Jory?
I'm good. I'm just getting back to civilization now. I've been on a long job, so I'm just
luckily Spurs haven't been playing, eh?
Yeah. I didn't miss one game. I think not one game. Finally, COVID was good for something at least. So
yeah, they must have said, look, Jory's on a big job. He can't be missing any Spurs games.
So keep delaying. Oh, is Jory back yet? Yeah. Oh, we'll postpone this game. He's not back yet.
that was what I was doing in Italy earlier in the year. That was arranging for this kind of arrangement. So, but I need you guys to kind of update me a little bit. I've been following it as good as I can. I know that the whole squad almost has been down with COVID, and the Leicester game is confirmed on now.
More or less. It's more or less. I mean, there's no murmurings of it being going to be off tomorrow. In terms of the players that we have back and don't have back, we don't actually know officially, but the rumours that we're hearing is that pretty much everyone's back apart from Skip and Højbjerg.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what about, I was going to ask, what about Romero's status?
Oh, no, he's not back.
He's still up.
He's a long-term injury, yeah.
So it looks as though we're going to have to go in tomorrow without Skip and Højbjerg. And if that is the case, how do you rate our chances tomorrow?
That's tough, man. That's really tough. But, I mean, if anybody can find a plan, I bet on Conte to do it, but I don't know. I guess we're going to have to be kind of low blockish and go on the counter completely then. It's really tough, especially Leicester are playing really well finally. They kind of, last game, Maddison and Tielemans was playing really well. So, they can be, certainly could be very dangerous for us. And I would hate to see this momentum. It's a weird momentum because everything is kind of stopping the flow of it, but we kind of have a momentum though going. I mean, we're what, 3 points off fourth?
With 2 games in hand,
Yeah. So it's not looking bad at all, and I think this should be kind of also line nicely up for some big January purchases and sales and so on, because we should definitely be going all out now. Especially, I would say, if we can get over the line with Romero, Skip, and Højbjerg against a team like Leicester, then I don't have any reservations left anymore. I'm a complete believer then, because that's really, I would say, really our strongest defensive heart as such. As I would even add maybe Dyer to that now. He's been amazing since Conte took over. He's it seems like, we've said it kind of before with Mourinho, but it seems like now there's calm and stability, and also more supportive, I feel like, towards Ben Davies and Sanchez or whoever's next to him. I feel like he's more responsible in that way. He's not hiding away as he used to do, like in bad situations. So I've been really impressed with Dyer, especially the last 2 games. So Yeah, I think if we can get our defense through that, then I really don't see how we're not doing amazing things this season, because we're going to be getting some support in January for sure.
You have to hope. Looking at the game tomorrow, like obviously a lot of the players have been isolating. We haven't played for 10 days. Going to the game tomorrow. There's reports that Son and Lucas only returned to training yesterday, back on the pitch.
Okay.
Although a lot of the team have been training back on the pitch since Sunday. How do you think that will affect us going into tomorrow? Would it mean we're maybe a bit more rest, and so maybe we, a bit sharper, or because we're lacking a bit of match action and lacking a bit of training time on the pitch, that could hurt us? So what way do you think it will swing?
Well, I think Conte would probably have been there himself in a hazmat suit and with a thermostat to check if people were able to train on their own or not. I think he's tried his best, at least, to keep the pressure up in terms of fitness and all of that. So it will be interesting to say. I would put money on that they're going to be very fit still. I think unless they've been actually in bed with a fever, they've been training on their own. I don't know. Maybe you guys know this. This is me speculating completely. Do you know?
We love your speculation, Jory. We love your speculation.
But have you guys heard anything about anything going on around?
We haven't heard anything specific about how they've been affected by COVID or anything. We have heard that they've been kind of doing lockdown-style training regimes, which like they did beginning of the lockdown. So. I guess they've been keeping up, but with the lack of time on the training pitch, it's difficult to kind of making sure everyone knows shape and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be that's going to be difficult.
Exactly. Yeah. At the time, but I'm sure he is going to have double sessions until we play, basically. But I don't know. I would bet on for this maybe we would see the most defensive setup in his tenure now. That would, at least that's in my mind. This is how I would approach Leicester right now. It's like they're having a moment. They're full of confidence. Okay, let's let them overexpose themselves and use that confidence to get them too open at the back, and then use like Lucas and Son and potentially other players to counter them really, really hard. That's all we need, and we know that that Leicester is a place that kind of like in their home. When they're at home, there is a pressure on the players to play on the front foot. They can't sit back as well. So I think it's going to be left to them to kind of dictate the game, and we can then react to that.
And with they're also lacking with defenders because Evans picked up an injury.
Yeah,
on Sunday,
they have their problems.
So they've only have one fit recognised centre back at the moment.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay a midfielder and centre back probably. So I think you're right. If we do make open them up a bit, invite them onto us, and if we can exploit the space they leave, for sure there'll be gaps for us to exploit. And even with their first choice defence, they've been struggling to defend this season. So
yeah, I think Amati might be playing tomorrow night. So it probably might be Sionchu and Amati at the back. But let me ask you this, Jory, with if Højbjerg and Skip are out tomorrow night, who do you look at for playing in that midfield that can really hold solid against the Tielemans and against an Indeed? I mean, you've got Skip, Ndombele, Lo Celso. I mean, Mikey suggested that maybe putting Dyer into the midfield for tomorrow night. I mean, how are you looking at it?
I've actually thought about that quite often. With Dyer, or recently I've thought that he might actually be able to go into that destroyer role on the midfield, and then we could maybe line somebody else up in the defensive line. But still, if Romero was there, I would actually consider that as a viable plan. But who's then going to be kind of taking care of? Maybe Davis is up for it. Davis has been amazing. I don't know. Maybe it's so weird talking about these players that we would so easily categorize and dismiss in a second, just a couple of weeks ago. But right away, Conte has just shown us some complete different sides to all of these players. So it's difficult to kind of pass judgment on what they're capable of right now. But I definitely think Dyer could do a job there. But I think also it's also maybe a little bit if it's not broke, then don't play with it. Because this has for so many years been our really big weakness has been that back line. And now it's working without us really buying anything except Romero, of course. But he's been out most of the time and it's still been working. So. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I guess this is the time for, I would say maybe, I don't know, it's like normally quality wise, you would maybe go for, think of Delhi and Ndombele and stuff like that. But we also know how extremely dangerous that is and how much pressure that's going to invite onto our back line, So I'm not one to be lacking answers and opinions, but this is really one of those times, So, how about you guys, Ben? I would throw it back to you. What's your plan for this if you're in Conte's seat?
Who would I like to see in the middle of the park? I mean, it's a very
and
difficult
how
one.
would you then do the back line as well?
It is a very difficult one because I want to see us being as solid as we can be against a strong Leicester front line, against a strong Leicester midfield, and I want to see us counter-attacking them at pace with their failing back line. So,
would you be tempted to go 5-3-2 tomorrow? Maybe beef up the midfield a bit with numbers as opposed to
with who though? We don't have the numbers.
Just put Lo Celso and Ndombele and Winks there.
Is that enough though? Like, even with those three in the middle of there, let's say it's against Tielemans and Indeed, they can still be got at though. They can still be got at massively, those three in the midfield.
Yeah, but at least you got the numbers there. You outnumber them.
Yeah, exactly. I would say at least you then have the numbers at the back. And I actually, to be honest, you convinced me, Sim. There, I think actually, with the two.
Didn't take a lot of convincing, Jory, did you?
No, it seemed it's the only answer I've found heard.
Yeah.
So I think like Lo Celso and Winks actually, believe it or not, could actually maybe do that, and then have I can't believe I'm saying this, but then Winks would be in a more back role and Lo Celso in the more forward role.
What about if you play the same formation Sim's saying with a three in midfield, a back three of kind of maybe Sanchez on the right, Rodon in the middle, and Davis on the left. Dyer as like the furthest back midfielder sitting in front of that defence, and then maybe two ahead of them, maybe Ndombele, Lo Celso, or Winks and Ndombele, or Winks and Lo Celso, something like that.
I see the logic. I just think it's maybe too much change. Which you
Yeah.
don't want too much disruption.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the same. The only question there is, will they then have the time to drill such a system? Because we can see the reason why these things are working so amazingly is the amount of drilling that's going on. It's so clear that especially the players that have always struggled with making the wrong decisions, they seem now to really not make decisions. They're just going on automatic routines that have been drilled into them, which is exactly what you want to see. So I don't know if such. I mean, I think the lineup in terms of play, I think it's quite good. Yes, and yeah, you would. I think that's also one you would want to try and go for. But it's not one of those that we've played that much this year. So. I don't know if they're going to be up for holding that shape and those tactics.
Another
but
player,
definitely the player selection I like, Ben, for sure, as well.
Another player who's up in the air if he's going to play tomorrow is Reguilon. I'm hearing that he might not be fit enough to play for tomorrow, with a view of maybe playing him against Liverpool. That's also going to be a massive loss for us tomorrow, because obviously we all know how he's been performing. Do you back Sessegnon to come in and do the role?
Yeah, I actually think he was quite amazing last game. I mean, most of us thought that. I mean, not necessarily for anything that we could measure in terms of assists or goals or anything, but just how what you saw. You know, how he moved how he moved, how his confidence was amazing. I thought he was brave. You know, he didn't shy away from the challenges and so on. So I think, yeah, we might be seeing the start of something amazing with him. He clearly has the skill and potential. I mean, I saw enough in that game to see, or I think I said it in your call-in show there, that this is why, like, it's been baffling me why we keep hanging on to him. You know, why we just don't, apart from Levy's, of course. Levy being Levy, but I can see now why you would still want to try and give that potential. You know, if this is what's been obvious to the coaches working with them daily, then I can definitely see why you would give it an extra shot and an extra shot and so on. And now Conte, you know, and we knew that before he came in. Conte is one of those coaches that really unlocks the full potential in players, you know, and kicks the rest out, by the way, which is also good. So yeah, I would definitely Sessignon. I would definitely, and I think exactly what we need Reggie for the Liverpool game. For me, I would say we should definitely be happy if we can go walk away from these two games with 2 points. Then we should be happy. I think we can win Leicester for sure, but considering everything, I think if we get 2 points out of those two games, it's definitely acceptable. And I'm also yeah, Conte for me is also one of those. You know, if like I looked at Mourinho always as a man that could potentially unlock the whole gig and press and all of that. You know, and find good systems to expose that. I think Conte is that, and even more. You know, even more likely to really make them suffer for that philosophy. You know, so.
All right, just before we let you go, Jory, what is your score prediction tomorrow?
All right, let me see. I'll say. You know what? I think we're gonna keep a clean sheet, even though maybe the odds are against it. But just something in me says that the boys that will get the task, they will be even more focused and will put even a better shift in. So I'm saying we're keeping a clean sheet, and I'm saying Lucas will open it up with one, and Sonny will finish it with one. 2-0.
Lucas, 2 goals, 2 games in a row. He's going to score, eh? What are the chances of that?
You know, this might be his top scoring season. He might go all the way to 7 or 8 goals this season. You know?
Let's hope so, Jory. Let's hope so. But always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend, and we'll see you next, hopefully after the game tomorrow night.
Yes, take care, guys.
Nice one, Jory.
My friend.
See you, mate.
Come on, you Spurs.
Bye-bye. Come on, you Spurs.
All right, that is the Joracle. Anyone else? All right, so I think we're going to leave it there, guys. Predicted lineup coming your way today, as well as Antonio's press conference due to start in around about an hour. So keep your eyes peeled out for all the content coming your way today. I'm sure you'll get a Tottenham update at some point today as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Glad to have Tottenham back, and can't wait to be bringing you the matchday content back as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.